everybody, and welcome back to Trekyards. He is Commander Cockings.
He's got a Foley.
And today we're talking about something kind of cool. Generations 2.5, the sequel to Generations. I mean, kind of, right? What are we talking about today, Samuel?
Well, there's this odd viral marketing thing that's been happening for a while. That's both very subtle and very ambitious and very, haha, look at this. And made by a render engine company of all people. A group called Octane Render, which I use for my interiors. They partner with Roddenberry, and then everybody apparently within the Star Trek field, from the director of The Cage to Terry Matalis to Doug Drexler, John Eason, Andrew oh, hi guys! To make this rather ambitious Roddenberry archive thing that they've been sort of leading up to, and then because, you know, that's not enough, they're releasing short films. It's a lot to summarise, Stuart. You threw me a curveball of summarisation there.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, this video, which I've got so many people send to me, Regeneration, where you see a Spock going to visit Kirk's grave, and you see the recovery of the Enterprise D. We, of course, want to talk about that, but we're going to bite-size it a bit and talk about it kind of piecemeal. So today, specifically, we're talking about the recovery of the Enterprise D saucer. And I think there's some really great visuals in it for sure, and it's really fantastically done, and I was very happy to see it. So,
and it's one of those things where they are clearly putting the tiniest of details in, which allow us to have the confidence to stop and look, versus just, here's a short film that someone made. There's a certainness here that is worth our attention. But of course, just to remind you, Stuart, the Enterprise D crashed.
It did. And I know I'm going to address this right out of the gate. One of the quotes from the movie is, "But unfortunately, the Enterprise herself cannot be salvaged." A lot of people took that as there's no way this Enterprise D is coming back. What they meant was because it crashed into a planet, essentially, there's no way it would be structurally sound to serve its duty as a regular starship. Geordi, of course, went out of his way to make sure that it was going to get restored. It probably still not structurally sound. I don't know. What do you think?
It's a gradient, right? When you say, can this thing be repaired? Everything can be repaired, but it might take you literally it's like you could rebuild the lunar lander from Apollo 11, but you have to rework, you'd have to reverse engineer every single part again from scratch. So you could do it, 100%, but it'd take a lot of time. What he meant is we can't get this back into space in like a year, which is all the stuff it's going to worry about, and even if we did, it'd be not great. This is the flagship, it has to be out doing.
I just know that point's come up quite a few times that it said it was unsalvageable, and yes, I can see why they'd say that. It's just quicker to just, we got new ships on the go, the Sovereign class, we're going to give you one of those kind of things. So,
But of course, in the film, it was a giant piece of saucers, custom built, that crashed through this. It was on like a crane thing, and it went through all these fake trees, etc. Ended on this giant site, a mix of practical and a bit of CG. So also matte painting with Enterprise on it. Very impressive sequence. Looks great today, and bold, right? I recreated it ironically for my film, but I had to be very simple with it because, of course, I have no money. This team apparently have some money. Here's their recreation of it.
Chef's kiss, so beautiful. Yeah. I love the morning fog to kind of add that. That's actually a clever trick, actually. So you don't have to do all that landscaping and the slide mark behind it. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, this shows some Starfleet recovery efforts. You see the shuttles there, which we saw at the end of the movie. And then they've also built gantries and stuff to do what they need to do to get this thing back into space.
And these shorts are entirely visual, abstract pieces. They don't have any dialogue, they don't have any story per se. It's all, every single one is kind of a visual, is a still frame. And I know a lot of the things are based on comic strips, etc., from back in the old days. This is really based on something, but it's how can we tell the story from a single image? Because I don't know what the cranes are doing. I don't know what it's trying to tell me exactly, but I get the point it's making, which is we need to do some serious MacGuffining to get this thing, even to get off the planet. You don't want it to start crumbling and crash and be destroyed. This isn't about recovering it to work. This is about keeping, or taking every piece of it off world. So they say in Picard, you can't leave this technology on this planet to be found by the natives who will evolve eventually. because any metal that's not native will eventually be found and could reinvent the entire course of the civilization. So we've got to grab the entire thing, right?
Yeah. I do want to point out a few things here. These ships, when they separate, are designed to do this kind of landing. You see it in the technical manual to do the and then slide in. So they are kind of structurally probably reinforced to kind of handle this. Might have came in a bit of a steeper angle or too fast. That's kind of the implication with this one. So it is, the ships are kind of designed to be recovered from this in the first place. And when we did our research for the Galaxy class episodes that we did, you see on Utopia Planitia, there's a shot where you see saucers on the planet's surface being built. So it's not like getting them off a planet's surface. I know Mars has less gravity and all that, but I know that like getting them off the planet's surface is not unheard of. It just require a couple of tractor beams, like, and pull it out probably.
What I like about this is that it, like I said, the small details, the fact they've obviously 3D built and put all these little shuttles, all these little people, all the little there's some work bees flying around. Everything that's both correct for the era. They didn't reinvent the wheel. They've just built it properly, put it back in, and it all looks great. I love your quote of the fog, because the fog hides 30 hours of tree rendering, etc.
But it also makes it super dynamic and artistic, right? Beautiful, yeah.
But let's actually do what they don't want us to do and compare directly to Viridian. Another great thing about it is that it sort of matches the landscape, but again, you don't need to build, because it's not just a forest. It's all of the fact that all the trees are destroyed and laid down. I mean, that would need to be recreated up perfectly. And then how far is it?
And the funny thing is, on the model from Generations, the saucer model, they're missing escape pods and stuff underneath the registry, which they seem to have fixed on this one, because you can see them under the NCC there. And we pointed that out. It was actually a surprise to us because we've watched this many times, but we're kind of breaking down the new Enterprise for Picard. We noticed it. So if you look under the NCC, there's supposed to be escape pods on the top one. There isn't. And then they put them in this one. So
very, very clever, and this is just a very small testament to what they can do. The next two shots are fun because are either of them real?
See, that's the thing. I personally would say yes, because they look so good. But if they're showing off their render engine, I mean, I would imagine they're not real, honestly.
Because if the point is to, like I said, this is so Octane Render is a high-end video rendering engine. Uses a GPU. It's cutting edge. The obvious thing is they just went into this forest and filmed this, or did they?
I doubt it.
Yeah, but are they really going to send a guy out to film for one shot? You don't. That's the thing. That's the question. And the bottom shot is a lot easier to create because it was a lot less seen. Obviously, the spaceship was fake, but I mean, we see these things in movies all the time. That's kind of the point, right? Like Dune, the new one. The landscape's incredible. You wouldn't think much of it, but it's obviously not real. So you start doing real-looking or fake-looking real fake. The question, and I'm guessing the bottom one now we've talked about, is actually the crash
it's the
debris.
mark.
It's the slide marks.
Yeah.
Which again, I doubt they found real slide marks, so that presumably is fully CG.
Yeah, that could just be an empty riverbed as well, though. I mean, hey.
The confusion is part of the fun here, Stuart. For the next shot, though, this is clearly a fake saucer. But look how good those trees look. Right? It's fake, but it's...
This looks great. This looks fantastic. And I got to say, that's probably 10 forward right there that we're looking up at. The fog as well, again, here, kind of the hide saucer detail, but gives it that touch of realism. So.
And gives it depth. Ironically, removing detail because your brain sees all the different fog layers, you understand it. And this is obviously a recreation from the movie, but its own unique version. Isn't there a joke in the movie where it almost hits a tree and then the tree survives at the end? Like, that one tree lived. It's like, here it is, it's fine. It's very, very good, right? And also, as a CG artist, a grey sky day is awful to render with because there's no direct light. If you see a shadow and you see a CG light, you can connect the fake and the real. You understand where the shadow's coming from. If it's all grey and there's no shadow, well, all your lighting, your CG thing is just grey, which is just top grey. It's just lit. There's nothing to take from it. So this is a very annoying shot to do. The next shot, though, clearly CG. I think I'll accept this is full CG, but the ground stuff's pretty good. And I love the fact that you've got two different shuttle variants because that stuff is so important to me personally. Seeing the full fleet, right?
Yeah. Although the things that are tethered there and floating, they don't seem Star Trek to me. They lack any kind of Federation aesthetic. They look like something out of a Halo
Dune.
video game or something. Or yeah, exactly.
But by the same token, on the right hand side, I mean, those are girders of construction. I mean, that's modern day beams, right? There's nothing Star Trek about that, so it's hard to judge. But what would Star Trek girders be?
Well, what works, So, like, you don't need to change it, right? So,
but it's odd to see something so contemporary.
Yeah, I think it was a touchstone to kind of ground it with like real world, down and dirty, getting things done kind of vibe.
What intrigues me more is that it's. I mean, it's obviously trying to tell a story without being literal, like. But tow cables, over tractor beams.
I don't think those are tow cables. They look. I mean, they could be, but yeah, that's a good point. Actually,
That's why I assumed. Otherwise, I don't know what they'd be doing otherwise. Because my assumption by that is that these are possibly, maybe the saucer was so damaged structurally they couldn't tractor beam it. Tow cables, so they brought in, 100-year-old stuff from all the NX era, like that, like the last of the tow, because things are different functions, right? And that's like 5 generations ago recovery units, which still exist. That's why they look, NX meets Dune.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think these three look like they have the power to lift that, though.
Well, no, there's more in another shot. I don't know if we've got or not, but there was definitely more in a...
Like the first shot, it looks like there might be 3 of these things at the front, possibly 4 with the one at the side there. But
it's hard to tell with scale because the saucer's so big. If the one on the left is right at the other end of the saucer, but I mean, is it smarter to do 20 tow cables than one giant tractor beam to spread out the weight pull?
it might be. They might combine tractor beams with those structurally support it, because the tractor beam might shake it apart essentially. So you'll use those to support it, get it up higher as the tractor beam is helping. And then once you get into the thinner atmosphere, you can take over completely with tractor beams. Would be my guess.
Because you would think all they need to do really is just get a ship down there, put shields around it, and then have structural integrity field. Like there are surely sci-fi ways to just extend a structural integrity field. And just throw in, Stuart, this was a Doug Drexler done test. They were asked, how are we going to reassemble Enterprise D? They took the ILM model clearly, because I recognise that model, and they said, well, how would it look from a crash? And this is what they did as a little approval model to add some detailing.
Yeah, and there's even a window bent down, or a panel bent down on the one side there.
Just a bit of fun to show what they were thinking.
And that would be mostly cosmetic. I'm sure the structural stuff would have been repaired. And I'm not sure how much damage it would have taken, because, like I said, those are kind of designed to do that kind of landing. I'm not sure that there would be much structural damage necessarily, because it would account for that. But as I said earlier, if it comes in too fast and at the wrong angle of approach, then you get into problems with structural issues.
Because they do say in the movie they've lost thrusters, so it's an entirely uncontrolled entry. And they actually lose thrusters in orbit, so it's literally just praying.
Falling. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. They were lucky because they glided it. They got, before thrusters did, he managed to get an angle that was more of a glide. And while the thing is designed to survive structurally, doesn't mean that they would not be designed to ever be flown again, just to save the people while trashing the ship. That's the point of the survival, right?
I think the technical manual does say that it's supposed to do a few of these, find a good landing spot, and then bring it in nice and slow. But yeah, I think because of the explosion of the star drive section, it threw it, and she came in straight in. So it's a little bit of a different landing. So yeah,
again, landing. You're really stretching that word, Stuart. Because
I mean, it is landing. Any landing you can walk away from is a good one.
It's a Buzz Lightyear landing, right? It's flying with style. Yeah. It's like, nope, you're falling. No, but I would definitely love though to see I could do it as a CG artist, but I'd love to see a controlled landing, like you say, of seeing the thrusters and seeing, because popping down, I'm sure it could lift off, and it's not just a lifeboat, is it? It's designed to be a fully contained craft. Not capable, obviously, but whatever. Yeah. But Stuart, there was more to this video because we didn't just get.
I don't know.
Basically, just try and impress us, right? And impress the audience, because this is a shot we got. Clearly, Viridian 6, the Kirk bit, and obviously we're teasing the Spock stuff, but again, not real. This is not. They didn't go on location for this.
As far as we know.
Well,
I mean, some of them I can see the regular plate or photography being real, and then adding the trees, the Gantries, stuff like that in the render engine would be my guess. But again, they're showing off the render engine, so maybe the whole environment is.
Well,
Man.
it's like, is it easier to incorporate a real man on a green screen into a? I doubt they built, because I mean, what the budget they have isn't to build sets, it's to be clever with the computer stuff. You know, it's digital over everything else and being clever. So to fly out here for ostensibly a 1 hour shoot with a guy in full makeup, probably not going to do. Green screen, they're kind of above that, ironically, like a lot of the stuff they do.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do more about this later, guys. Believe this is a tease video, right? So Enterprise D plus some other stuff. Well, they do LED wall stuff and other, but this is very clever integration. Assume this is partially LED wall, and then him added. He might be always a full digital body, right?
That's what I was wondering. That's what I would assume they would do with the render engine, and even the dynamics of the flowing cape and stuff to show off the new, fabric motion.
But then the entire thing is CG, unless it's not. But it's very depthy. The shot moves, right? It's a wonderful confusion. Oh, I definitely can tell the thing in the Gantry is CG though. That actually does that. I can see the texturing, right? That's not the same.
Yeah,
because it's flat shaped. It's not a very ambitious thing. Here's a direct comparison though. Now this one they did actually try and get right. I could see a lot of the tree is correct and the way it attaches, because this is the spot, right? This is a licensed short made by Octane Render. And they brought a Spock guy in and they recreated him going to the grave. You got to recreate it. This is the hero rock, right? It's the hero rock.
And ironically, theirs looks better than the original, which is actually real footage.
Yep.
Better lighting though. It's a different day, brighter lighting conditions. So hey, whatever.
And just to note, while there has been a 4K release of this film, I've yet to check it out fully. This is a 1080p screen cap, and I did this as a 4K master because they rendered this in Octane as 4K, which is so that difference you're seeing in scale is kind of the difference in the quality of the shots originally. Like it's that much more high fidelity by itself. But I mean, yeah, I'm questioning what is here is real and not here. Because are they really going to build a fiberglass, a resin rock, and then perfectly light it with the CG? Because that is all the light levels are the same, the direction's perfect. That's the great question in this video. What is real? I don't even know.
Ironically, I see one possible error.
Ooh, excellent.
The one leg closest to the top, you can see a gap between the leg and the rock. Even the shadow shows it, which structurally would be awful.
Oh, yeah.
So you think those would be drilled into the rock? So I don't know if that's a mistake.
Yeah, you're right. The gantry is like 5 centimeters too high. Too high.
Yeah.
Ah, Stuart. Well done. You found the one thing they didn't do. We'll see them in version 2 next time. Wow. Re-render at 4K. Go.
See, I could imagine that being on the prop, because you think they wouldn't drill into the rock to make the prop. They would just set it. And it could just be a little off. So, but for this, it just seems out of place to me a little bit.
Oh, chef's kiss, Stuart. Chef's kiss to you, sir. But yeah, it does look a lot nicer. And I kind of want to see like a remaster now of the scenes from Generations. Because in theory, you could pull out from the 4K master, you could rotoscope out Picard, say, and put on this version of the set, which actually give you a higher fidelity. Because like I said, I don't like that ending shot from the movie. It's very dark. I get the logic of the shot, but it makes it look a lot less nice to me. But of course, Stuart, the crescendo, the reveal, of course, it would have been fine if we just had someone goes to the grave, picks up a comm badge, which is what is in the short, and then we get it, right? Who else goes in a cloak? Yeah, it's probably Spock. But no, the man, myth, the legend, turns around, takes off his Spock cloak, and then looks at camera. He didn't go to film school. He looked at the camera for a good 5 seconds. Spock, no. Where are you looking? But yeah. And there's going to be a lot of this, Stuart, believe me, looking at this man, this Spock, this real guy.
Which, as he said earlier, this is a teaser. We're going to be doing more on this, of course, the breakdown of this kind of stuff as well. But expect that in another video, so make sure that you're subscribed and all that.
Because they went a bit obscenely deep on this, and I want to compare each version to each real version. It's going to be a bit of a long one, but also, boy, the effort. I mean, you got to celebrate the effort. Stuart, is this real?
I thought it was a deep fake. But I got
told you it
schooled.
wasn't.
I got schooled. It's not. Which we're going to talk about in another video. We can't reveal it all
but
here.
we could. But people are going to say it's just a CG model. That's the obvious inclination. But it isn't. I think this is the least impressive version of the version I've seen because it's now fake wrinkles on a fake prosthetic, which I think is harder to do. The other versions of him I think look obscenely flawless. This I think is less good. Personally, I would have. But that's just if this is the worst one they did, Stuart.
Exactly.
That's the bar we're going to talk about later.
I see this as being perfect, but
now obviously this I do know is an LED wall. They just filmed him on a big screen. That's why the hair's perfect, and that's why it's very, very blurry. Because that's what you do with LED walls.
yeah. So we have a video coming out about that. So stay tuned, guys. Make sure you subscribe, click the notification bell icon so you don't miss it, and please like this video. Comment down below on any of this. I want them to comment below about the saucer recovery issues. If you know anything, ways they could do it, ways they should do it, let us know in the comments section. But if you want to watch this video, regeneration, where can they find it, Samuel?
Well, you can go to the OTOY, Octane Rendering, just OTOY, all capitals. Their YouTube channel has various pieces, all short things, or search the Roddenberry Archive, OTOY, multiple articles which show a lot of interesting behind the scenes. Like I said, it's all kind of viral marketing with how they're doing this. It's very here and there everywhere. And then the Roddenberry Archive.x.io, which is the bigger thing they're doing, which we'll talk about in another video, because that is not even one video's worth of content. That is several. And they did just get William Shatner to do a video for them. So, go watch that.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. They're all
on a new bridge you haven't seen for 40 years. Just nothing big, right? Shatner on the Enterprise bridge. Yeah. Crazy. It's crazy.
So, like I said, do all the things you need to do. Subscribe, like, all that, comment, and also be sure to join us for lives where you can interact with us and talk about the stuff in real time. Give us your thoughts and opinions and facts if you have them. We want to hear from you guys. So please join us for all those. And how do they do that, Samuel?
Well, you can just keep the YouTube channel open on a tab or all time. So when it says we go live, you just click. You weren't specific, Stuart. That is a way they could stay informed.
It's true.
But we do have lives basically the same time any given day. Join for those super chat if you can. Your thoughts, comments, questions, and opinions. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love that direct real-time communication. Or super thanks. It's a super chat, but on any video, any content, and any amount of money, that helps a lot. Put in a comment. We'll love the support. Or one-time donations at trekyards@hotmail.com. That is the PayPal. Or monthly. We love a monthly. Patreon. Or join the channel on YouTube. Really, really helps us continue this stuff, not just the giant content during the shows, the new shows, but also other stuff all the rest of the time, because we just like doing content for you guys.
Absolutely. So until that next time, he's Commander Cockings.
He's Captain Foley.
See you guys later.
Bye, guys.